can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus.
Hey, what's up? Finally, after about 3 or 4 days of straight rain, I can do my install today. I'm outside the garage, so I'm gonna take advantage of this lighting. Hopefully, it doesn't rain anymore today, or at least while I'm trying to do this install. Okay, so this is what I will be installing today. The ThunderMax Oil Cooler Fan, recommended for the 2017 up to about 2022 M8 touring models. The model number will be in the description. This is how it looks. Solid construction, plug and play. It's also recommended for anybody with a stage 2 or higher, like a big bore kit. And it's one of the various ways that you can keep your engine temperature down by cooling the oil down. And you got some instructions and some nuts and bolts. Also, what I recommend before any install are service manuals. I have the service manuals for my particular touring model, which is a 2021 CVO Road Glide. And I got the supplement as well. These manuals will give you the torques and specs for all nuts and bolts that are on your bike. Also, it shows you how to take apart and put together any OEM parts that are on your bike or that you're trying to replace. And last but not least, I got my Power Vision by Dynojet. I'll use this to flash the unit once I install it, so that when the engine reaches a certain temperature, it'll cut on by itself. All right, I got the bike on the stand already. Lift it up off the ground, give me a little bit more clearance. So basically what I gotta do is remove this spoiler, this fairing spoiler here. It's 3 pieces. There's a left side, a right side, and then there's a bottom piece right here. So this is your oil cooler here. So the unit that we're installing, the fan, is gonna go behind this cooler. So first things first, gotta remove the tin spoiler. All right, to remove the spoiler, first you have to remove these 2 torque screws on both sides that's connected to your upper fairing. Then underneath you have, let me see if you can see it, there's another bolt here. There's one on the other side. There's these bolts here that are connected to the crash bar, bolt one on each side. And then inside, behind here, I'll see if I can get a good picture of it, there's 2 more bolts. One on the left, you can see it right there. One on the left, and there should be one here, right here on the right.
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. Couple things I know, couple things.
All right, now that I got the bolts out, there's 3 steps that you need to remove the fairing. First step is to work this out. You're gonna pretty much work, everything is loose. So you're just gonna work it out and separate it from the bottom of the fairing. You do that on both sides, 1 and 2. And then once you get it loose from up top, you'll lift it up a little bit so that it'll separate from the bottom shroud. And then once you separate that, you can remove these 2 pieces. And then there's 2 grommets at the bottom of this. You just separate it, and then you can remove the bottom fairing. So to separate it from here up top, just grab on both sides and just try to wiggle it from underneath. It's like a groove right underneath. You just wiggle it out. Now that it's out, what you do is you just lift it up from off of the bottom shroud. Just be careful not to scratch your paint. The paint quality is pretty good, so there you go. And we'll do the same on the other side. Let's put this off in a safe spot. We'll do the same on this side as well. Separate it from the top. Grab this side here and then just work it out of the groove. And then just pull it off the shroud. There you go. And then last but not least, just turn your wheel a little bit so that, see it's already loose. Just gotta separate it from the grommets here on both sides. Just give it a little pull. Try to do it with one hand, holding on to the wheel. So, that's one. Oh, probably should have covered that up. It's okay though. Now on the back side, you can see there's two rubber grommets. So we'll just take these off and just pop them back on the bottom of the oil cooler in the two spots that you see right there where they just came from. And then you put this in the safe spot. All right, here's a good shot of your oil cooler. That's a voltage regulator on top, but at the bottom, this is your oil cooler. And on the back, on each side, there's two bolts. There's one here. You can see it right there. There's one here, and there's one on the other side. So basically what's next is I'm gonna remove these two screws. The unit's gonna come loose. It's gonna wiggle it, just enough for me to get behind it to slide the fan underneath. Now, as you can see, the fan moves freely now. And underneath, I don't see if you know if you can see it, but there is a plug right here that the unit will plug into. So this right here. Here you go, it's loose now. This is a dummy plug here. It's a dummy plug, so you just take the cap off of this. Oh man, look at my hands. Dirty. How often do you get to clean underneath? So this is the plug that the fan will plug into. Once it gets mounted behind here, it'll just slide up underneath here and just get bolted back. All right, so I got my blue Loctite, put a little bit on the threads. I'll start it through the hole. The hole's already pre-threaded, so start it through the hole. You just want to thread it just enough so you can feel it coming through the other side. And you do the same thing on the other side. And then once that's done, your fan is marked with the up arrow pointing up. So it's going to be installed this way, right behind the oil cooler fan, right behind the oil cooler. So you slide it up between the two brackets. Make sure your cord is free. Slide it up in between both. Then you take your bolt that you pre-started, just line it up, and continue screwing it in. Apologize for the camera angle, but unfortunately, because it's so tight, it's a small area to work in, can't necessarily get the best camera angle for you. Fluid coming through, yep. So right now, I'm just gonna get it in there. And then On the other side of that same bolt, we got a washer and a lock nut. So they'll go through on the other side. Now I'll leave everything loose right now until I get the other side situated. Once I get the other side situated, then I can tighten everything up. The gloves don't help with the grip. All right, so that's on there. Now let's go do the same thing on the other side. Now underneath, you got the plug from the bike itself, and then you got the plug on the fan. So we just connect those two together and secure it. And then the wire, I'll just connect it back to the attachment tab and leave it on the bike so it doesn't dangle. There you have it. All right, there you have it. As of right now, it's installed, secured on both sides of the fan. Fan's not moving. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the actual, this lighter part, the silver part, that's the fan mounted directly behind the oil cooler. And this is the plug for it to be plug and play. That's the plug right there. I secure it back on the bottom of the bike. This is a bottom shot of the fan itself, connected to the back of the oil cooler. All right, next we gotta remove the left saddlebag so that we can remove the left side cover so that we can access the plug to plug in our Power Vision. Got my saddlebag on my DIY saddlebag holder, just in case you're doing any work on your Harley Davidson. They got saddlebags. Great project. I'll put the link in the description. All right, I got my Power Vision. This is the plug I'll be using to access the ECM on the bike. There we go. Just plug mine in on the other side. Now, according to Fuel Model's website, in order to use this, gotta make sure the firmware is up to date. So I guess we'll just turn the bike on. Turn it on by itself. I'm not sure if you can see that. So let's see here, device info. Let's see we can find out the firmware. Okay, so right now the firmware I have is 3.0.5-38. So this says 3.8.1.91 for the 21 and newer bikes. I got a 21 Road Glide CVO, so I have to update my firmware. Be right back. And I'm back. Finally got the Power Vision updated to the latest firmware. Couldn't do it on my MacBook, so I had to find me a Windows computer. So I got it done. So let's get back to the flash of the bike. So let's turn our bike on. See, I don't know if you can see it. Let's turn it on. Hit program vehicle, quick tune, configure number 2, oil fan cooler. I don't know if you can see it right there. It says oil fan cooler. Put a check mark in the box, hit save. This will save all changes and update ECM, yes. Turn the key off and wait about 10 seconds and then turn it back on. All right, now that the bike's flashed, let's see if it works. Ignition switch on, roll the throttle and hold it. There it is, it's on. It is working. All right, now this time to just button it up. So just like it was when I took it off, I'm just gonna do it in reverse. I'm gonna put the bottom shroud on, the actual spoiler for the radiator on, and then I'll put the two side pieces on, make sure all the lines are straight, and then I'll bolt everything up.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. Couple things I know, couple things I show, couple things I don't. I can tell you my problems, I can tell you my sins, I can tell you my problems. I'm uncomfortable in my skin, I'm uncomfortable with my ends, I'm uncomfortable with my friends, I'm uncomfortable with my drinking, I'm uncomfortable with my thinking, I'm uncomfortable with my waist, I'm uncomfortable in this space, I'm uncomfortable on good days, I'm uncomfortable on bad days.
And just make sure the lines are lined up, all the holes are lined up, and everything will get put together loosely.
I'm uncomfortable with my thoughts, I'm uncomfortable with my feelings, and sadly I'm uncomfortable with healing. I can't hold a frown too long, I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. I can't hold a frown too long, I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain.
And we are done, just as it starts to rain again. But as you can see, she's all buttoned up. All my lines are looking straight. She's a little dirty, but her lines are straight. That's what matters. Everything put back together nice and neat. Everything put back nice and neat. All right, well, got it done. Just in the nick of time, it's starting to rain again, of course. Early spring, you don't know what kind of weather you're gonna get. Anyway, I was able to get the install done, everything's torqued back down. Like I said, using those service manuals that I highly recommend everybody to get. It took me a little bit, like I said, it took me a little bit of time because I had to update the Power Vision. And before I can update the Power Vision firmware, I had to actually find a Windows computer to do it. But I was able to do it. It took me a little bit longer, like I said, but the install in itself, it's an easy install. It's something that you can do yourself in your garage or your driveway with a little bit of patience and the proper tools. Now, if you don't have a Power Vision from Dynojet, mine's from Fumoto, you have to go to a Harley dealership and they'll flash your bike. They'll charge you a couple dollars or whatever, but they'll get it done there as well. And then they can change the temperature as far as when it cuts on, if you want to raise it up or if you want to raise it down. Same thing I can do here on my Power Vision. I just got to dig into it. Like I said, right now it's scheduled or it's set to turn on about 200 something degrees. But so we'll see how that works out for now. But until next time, thanks for watching. Oh yeah, before I take it in, I might as well get that cold start.
I'm uncomfortable with my drinking, I'm uncomfortable with my thinking, I'm uncomfortable with my waist, I'm uncomfortable in this space, I'm uncomfortable on good days, I'm uncomfortable on bad days, I'm uncomfortable with my soul, I'm uncomfortable with my heart, I'm uncomfortable with myself, I'm uncomfortable with my heart, I'm uncomfortable with my thoughts, I'm uncomfortable with my feelings, and sadly I'm uncomfortable with healing.